Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode where we're delighted to be joined by Ashalee Mohamed, a senior business leader and advocate for small business growth in Canada. With over 18 years of experience spanning sectors from PR and media to legal and travel, Ashalee currently serves as head of sales and go to market at Xero Canada. In her role, she leads the Canadian GTM team, focusing on accelerating growth and operational excellence. Her deep commitment to fostering high performance cultures and supporting Canadian small businesses makes her a dynamic leader in the industry. Today, Ashley will be sharing insights on Xero's Beautiful Business Fund, an initiative that is designed to empower and uplift small businesses through funding, support, and resources. Ashley's dedication to helping small businesses navigate growth and innovation makes her the perfect guest to shed light on this incredible initiative. So, without a further ado, let's dive in. Hi, Ashley. Welcome to the Small Business Podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for joining us. And again, we're very pleased to have you join us. And we'd love to cover some of the key findings from Zero's insights in this podcast. Now, to kick things off, Ashley, I'd love to kind of, understand Zero's Beautiful Business Fund because the fund really supports the sustainable growth, helping small businesses thrive. What exactly is Zero's Beautiful Business Fund and what motivated its creation?
Yes, awesome question. And thank you for taking the time to walk through some of this stuff because, in my opinion, this is the core of Zero's ethos and how we really support and come to the table for small businesses, not just in Canada but globally. So essentially, the Zero Beautiful Business Fund, or as we call it internal, XBBF. Big acronym, but that's kind of like how we've narrowed it down here internally. This was first launched in 2023, and
Mhm.
its intention was to celebrate innovative, forward-thinking small businesses from all over the world, and really help be a instrumental part in them achieving their dreams. So the program itself, it funds more than 750,000 NZ dollars in that currency. And that funding goes to support small businesses and non for profits with their growth plans. And it helps drive future success. So in Canada, and specifically, each country winner received a $15,000 Canadian currency reward where they can use that to move their small businesses forward. Right. So when you think of small businesses, there's been lots of challenges with them in the industry right now, right? It's not been easy for small businesses to thrive, not just in Canada, but globally. But in Canada in particular, the economic climate has been a challenge, right? COVID was a challenge. So this is a way that we can, knowing that in particular, even with Canada, our economy is being built by small businesses, right? we
Right.
want to we want to take care of our own. We want to take care of our backyard, and we want to be able to say, here's what we can do to really support you. So it's not just yes, Zero goes above and beyond, right? We're also obviously a platform, a software SaaS platform that enables small businesses and their accountants and bookkeepers to give them back time in their day, and drive digitization and modern technology adoption that makes their jobs easier, right? Gives more efficiencies. But we want to go above and beyond that. Not just our platform offers that, but we want to go above and beyond and show how committed we are to small businesses globally and also in Canada.
It's really inspiring to see how Zero is committed to helping small businesses succeed. And this fund, it truly aligns with the needs of the Canadian entrepreneurs in this age. But actually, what feedback have you received from businesses and communities about this initiative?
Yeah, so we've gotten some great feedback. I think one of the favorite parts of this program is delivering the news to our winners. Right, like we saw
Mhm.
tears, we saw people jumping for joy. They were touched. They were compelled to know that their business was chosen. So ultimately, we know that the small businesses we work with, they are resilient. Right.
Right.
I always say, I'm actually surrounded a lot of my friendship circle that I've known for I'm aging myself, but almost well over 40 years. They're all
Mhm.
second generational small business owners, right? I've seen the resilience that they've had to go through in order to endure different economic climates, economic challenges. So needless to say, small businesses in Canada, they are resilient. So they've had to demonstrate incredible level of resourcefulness and ingenuity over the last few years. But we also recognize that a lot of small businesses owners are still facing those challenges, and they're challenged by the financial landscape. So, like, especially now during, as I mentioned, challenging financial times, an infusion of this kind of capital and what that can do to those small businesses, it can really make a difference, right? So, let's say one of our winners here in Canada, they were Well Suited Kingston, right?
Mm.
They won the award for strengthening community connection. They were a non for profit that promotes the economic independence and well being of men in need, providing free work appropriate attire and life skill workshops such as job interviewing preparation. And that funding, when we announced that they were the winners, right? The
Right.
first question is like, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that resource? How's that going to really scale or lift? And when you think about their response to me was, you know what, we're gonna drive more skill workshops to
Mhm.
provide more skills to men that are entering the workforce. We're going to invest in more inventory to make sure that, you know, in a world of first impressions really matter, that they're showing up really well respected and they're looking like they're playing the part. All those come, you know, all those help men in need, right? And to be able to hear that and know that that's what our business, Zero Beautiful Business Fund, is being able to do, it speaks to a larger ethos. And I think that's what we've been hearing in terms of the feedback is that not only is Zero's platform great and fantastic, and it's driving efficiencies and it's helping bridge workflow from a tech stack perspective, but it's also changing the way our business owners can actually thrive, how they can succeed, and to things that matter, right? And when you talk about, you know, employment for men or for those that are, they may not have the affordability to wear a beautiful, brilliant suit or have the job skills and the tools. They may not have that level of resource or investment on their own. To know that Zero's had a role to be able to play in that, for an example, like Well Suited in Kingston, it's truly inspiring, and that's the kind of feedback we've been getting back from not only our customers, our accountant bookkeepers, but also those small businesses as well, right? When I'm walking around town and if I'm wearing my Zero hat or a Zero t-shirt, I love the fact that small business owners are like, "Oh my gosh, you work at Zero," and they're so excited. And then they even talk about that our XBBF, right?
Right.
So these are the things where I would say everybody at Zero, we're in it because we want to make a difference. And we want to make a difference more than just driving SaaS and technology. And the
Right.
fact that this allows us, this is a strong conduit that allows us to be able to do that and tap into the ethos in terms of why every employee at Zero, we're all here because we are here to really support that end user and that customer and the small business acumen.
And we love the inspiration. I mean, thank you, Ashley, for explaining the motivation behind the fund. And listeners, if you were a small business owner seeking financial support, please take note because programs like Beautiful Business Fund can be game changers. Up next, Ashley, let's talk about the impressive Canadian winners and their inspiring journeys with the Zero Beautiful Business Fund. This year's Canadian winners showcase innovation and resilience in small business, and Zero recently announced its four Canadian winners for the Beautiful Business Fund. Could you walk us through the judging process and what made these winners stand out?
Absolutely. Um, with the program going into its second year, we were looking to really keep the momentum going by uncovering the most purposeful businesses with each category from Canadian small businesses community. So the process was really simple. I can tell you that this was probably my favorite part of my weeks leading up to discerning who the winner was. I was honored this year to be selected to support the official judging panel in Canada. So I intrinsically felt very invested in these submissions. And I really followed their story. So essentially, what we did is we asked our applicants to upload a 90-second pitch video selling judges on their businesses and to explain how the XBBF's funding would help support their business goals, right? And when you think
Mhm.
about it, when you think about the passion that a small business owner has and everything that their blood, sweat, and tears that they put into the business, summarizing this in 90 seconds is not an easy feat. So I don't want to mislead you, right? It's very hard to be able to do that in a concise way, right? So
Mhm.
once we received the submissions, we gathered a team of qualified judges, some that are internal at Zero, some partners of Zero as in clients and customers, some industry leaders, and some previous winners of XBBF also themselves to review and rank the submissions. And of course, as
Wow.
I mentioned earlier, I was honored to equally be selected to support that judging process as well here in Canada. So subsequent to that, each submission was judged within the category and it was submitted to, which consisted of four distinct funding categories. The first one being innovating for environmental sustainability. Second is trailblazing with technology. Third one is strengthening community connection. And the fourth one is upskilling for the future. So through our own unique scoring method, the businesses that came out on top of each category won the regional award in their country, and regional winners then had the potential to win the global award that was reviewed by a completely different set of judges, right? So
Mhm.
overall, if you're asking me like what stood out with some of these winners, right? What I can say is that the winners that did stand out, they stood out because of their ability to tell their story effectively, concisely in that 90 seconds, and tell the story about how they're impacting Canadians, how they're impacting our communities by the work that they're doing, as well as the planned execution of how they would receive that funding. Right. So, for
Right.
example, Glory Allen is one of the winners here in Canada, and they do it your own sewing kits. Right. And that really
Mhm.
helps minimize on waste. It helps minimize, it allows for, more sustainable from an economic perspective in terms of consumers buying clothes at insane prices. They were able to take that investment and then apply it to making more accessible do it your own kits, right? And drive scalability within their organization. So many people, and not many people, have access to their do it your own kits and being able to make their own clothes, and with their own flair, and make it as simple, right? And the stories that you hear from those people that were using this do it your own kits, DIY kits, right? I've had a few members of my staff. They've used it, or one of my staff actually said he bought it as a Christmas gift for his wife, and
Mhm.
she got hooked on it because it was simple, it was easy, right? So it's those little things that when you got the opportunity to share with the winners why they stood out, we saw joy, we saw tears, we saw just emotional people being moved by the acknowledgement that Xero was able to give them in terms of the impact they're having in the community. So it was a great process to be part of the judging, but it was equally even better to announce those winners to those individuals.
Well, these winning businesses are remarkable. They truly highlight Canada's vibrant entrepreneurial spirit. But how do you see these winners leveraging the fund to further their growth and goals, Ashley?
Yeah, so the XBBF here, these winners, they're free to use the funds however they choose to, right? However they see fit to support the growth of their small businesses, on top of providing a boost to their day-to-day operations. So in previous years, we've had winners share that the funding allowed them to do a fundamental in a series of things. So one, I think the primary driver is that they're reinvesting back into their business, and in how that will then, and whatever that outcome they're looking to propel, right? So, for example, last year, XBBF funding allowed the team at Skymar, which is a Canadian biotech company and winner of last year's Upskilling for the Future category, to provide specialized training for its employees through Truth to Action Reconciliation for their business program. And that addressed the social and emotional damage caused to Indigenous peoples, helping the team become way more informed, as well as drive organizational growth. Whereas for another winner, which was more granola, so they were a gourmet granola brand here in Canada, and they won for innovating for sustainability. That prize last year, and
Mhm.
the funding allowed them to take the next steps forward towards driving more sustainability and goals, and they looked at improving its ingredients, right? And they kind of started to source based on sustainability of each ingredient. So, you found like different ways that the funding drove the internal ethos of each business, right? So, to be able to have the resources, let's take more granola, for example, to say, hey, we really want to stand by what our brand is. And we really want to stand on what we know is connecting our consumers to our brand. So we're going to go a little bit deeper, and we're going to really start looking out at sourcing the ingredients that drive sustainability in each region. Right. That takes
Mhm.
R&D, research and development. It takes capacity, time, and to be able to do that with that money, like not only are you upping your game, or you're driving strong brand to your value to your brand, But again, you continue to make a difference from a sustainability perspective, right? You continue to make a difference in your consumers. So it's our hope that the funding ultimately will help this year's small business winners do the same thing as I mentioned above, which is inspiring work. It's inspiring these small businesses to do what they got into small business to do, right? Whether
Mm-hmm.
that be supporting their day-to-day operations or whether it's driving a catalyst for future growth or like really neat intrinsic strategic initiatives that drive stronger brand reputation or drive stronger connection to their own internal mandate and values.
Right. No, it's wonderful to hear about the success of these Canadian businesses. Now, actually, let's discuss how Xero's ecosystem provides additional support for Canadian businesses. Because from what we've learned so far from our conversation, from how we've partnered with the brand, I mean, Xero's ecosystem really supports small business growth with its open platform and tools. But how does Xero's open platform and connected ecosystem empower small businesses to manage finances and growth efficiently?
Yeah. I would say one of my favorite things about working with Zero is how much we leverage and we work in collaboration with our app ecosystem, right?
Mhm.
Because our product pacifies a certain workflow in a small business owner's use case day to day or their accountant and their bookkeeper channel. But when you combine the depth that we have in our ecosystem and our open API functionality, it opens a gateway for our customers to have end-to-end workflow in one go, right? And bridge all those gaps. So to be able to work with highly esteemed, just a few of them, we've got Dext, we've got WagePoint, we've got Countable, we've got Caseware. These are all brand ecosystem partners that are not foreign to the Canadian market in the accountant world. And I would say that Xero's connectivity to that ecosystem, it allows small businesses to work way more effectively. And it adds their ability to be streamlined. So we're streamlining their processes to ultimately increase productivity, right? And at the core of everything with our ecosystem partners, we're all in it together, right? We're not the company that's going to go and try to build out those functionalities that an ecosystem can do, right? But what we will do is say, let's leave it to the experts that have built that out, have built out a very successful customer base, and let's work together to drive more efficiencies and workflows for Canadian consumers. The
Mhm.
more connected you are to that app stack, the more smoothly your day-to-day operations can run, plain and simple, right? And you have it in an all-to-one connectivity from start A to Z, right? Instead of being it very clunky, that open API piece really allows for that connectivity and highly ease of use for day to day. And then ultimately, the small businesses they are notorious low. They're notoriously low on time and resources, right? That's a thing. That is 100% a thing for our Canadian small businesses. So having a connectivity and the connection and the integration that Xero offers with their app ecosystem partners, it really drives and it allows Xero and our ecosystem partners to be a big time saver for our small business community. And ultimately, we ultimately know that when you are a conduit and you can give back time in a small business, the sky is the limit in what that small business can do, right? Small
Mhm.
businesses, they don't go into business because they want to drive payroll and they want to do accounts receivable and they want to understand their cash flow and they want to understand where their transactional holes might be, which is all what our tech stack does. They don't do that. They don't get into their small business to drive that, right? That's not their passion. Our former CRO actually said this really well, and it's putting your back office in your back pocket and
Mhm.
allowing the small business owner to do what they got into small business to do and to be and that is what Zero and our ecosystem partners allows the small business to do, and that is something I take unequivocally great pride in being able to offer to our customers.
Well, Xero's ecosystem is truly an asset for small businesses that are looking to streamline their operations. But are there any, new partnerships or features that are coming soon that Canadian businesses can look forward to, Ashley?
We've got a ton. So we've been doing quite a bit of investment here in Canada, just to really refining some of those workflow processes, right? So coming soon is, let's say, our reconcile to period. So what that means, we're introducing a reconcile period that's going to help Canadian businesses and accountants easily compare their zero transactions to a bank statement. So this means you
Mm-hmm.
can confirm your zero transactions, they're complete and correct, and create a report for the complete period, and confidently protect transactions from change. So once you hit that button, nothing can be changed on that side. Like something so simple adds so much efficiency to workflows and eliminates headaches. We love to do that. That's what I see our opportunity for disruption is, how do we eliminate headaches and make your job easier on a day to day.
Mm-hmm.
Caseware partnership, we're driving another, we're going above and beyond just our open API that we have, that functionality that we have with our customers right now. So this is our year-end compliance Caseware partnership. So that partnership with Caseware, that's going to allow accountants and bookkeepers, and the small business itself to complete year-end tax compliance requirements faster. So we've expanded the existing integration between Xero and Caseware so that you can import trial balances, your general ledger from Xero into Caseware working papers to make that year-end adjustments prior to ending your tax solution in season. One of the big things that we hear from small businesses is cash flow, right?
Right.
Getting paid is a legitimate problem, right? Accounts receivables that are going more than 120 days, they can crucify small businesses, right? I even think, to me, if I'm even using a small business and I see like I still have to pay them by like check, or I've got to call somebody on the phone and pay them a credit card, like I'll be the first person to say like it takes me a long time to pay that bill. Right? Like, 'cause it's not top of mind. Like I'm not thinking about doing it, right? So something as simple as that is actually going to really impact a small business, because those account receivables and having it at that consistent time period is really really important in their ability, to just have that continuous cash flow injection, right? So more ways to
Mm-hmm.
pay. That's something that we're driving, and that's available now. That's getting paid and making payments. So new invoicing in Xero makes it easier for clients to get paid. They accept online payments by credit card, debit, or direct debit, and buy now, pay later options as well. So straight from Xero invoice lets our clients and the customers pay how and when they want to increase the chances of getting paid on time. And that time, really, it cuts down from chasing payments. Again, when you're a small business owner and you've got to chase payments, you're not doing what you're loving. You're not doing why you got into that small business to do, right? So again, if we can take that off of your plate, and if Xero can do that, that's going to be a win. Coming soon, we're just doing the beta testing. This is introducing Just Axe Jax. So this is Just Axe Zero, sorry, which is Jax. This is super cool. So this is like embedding AI into our platform. So it's meeting our new generative AI product, Just Ask Zero, or what we call Jax. It's your smart AI business companion, which is going to help you automate routine accounting tasks and get personalized insights wherever you are. So you'll be able to, literally, a small business owner can go on their phone and they can just ask Xero or Jax to complete a task, right? Can you generate this invoice? Can you re-edit this quote? Can you add in this payment? And they can actually just do it from their phone. And it automatically, our AI automatically embeds that into the workflow. So there's lots of great things happening in Canada that we're driving, not only for our accountant bookkeeping channel to make that partnership as seamless in terms of saving them time, but also for an end user small business owner. There's tons of opportunities that's coming through the pipeline here in Canada that, again, is just going to drive more efficiencies in their business and continue to give them back time to do what they love.
Mm-hmm. No, thank you so much, Ashley, for sharing insights on Xero's ecosystem. It's quite clear that Xero is dedicated to supporting the unique needs of Canadian small businesses. And listeners, as you think about scaling your business, please remember that a strong ecosystem like Xero's can be a game changer. Now, as we wrap up, Ashley, before we let you go, what advice would you give to Canadian entrepreneurs that are just starting their financial journey, that are looking for support from platforms like Xero?
Yeah. I would say my biggest piece of advice is go digital.
Mhm.
Adopt digitization, adopt tech stack. Like, am I here to promote Xero? 100%. But even if it's not Xero, you're still doing good by you as the business owner to give you back time so you can focus on other strategic priorities in the business, right? So, I mean, being an entrepreneur, it's extremely challenging, but it's very rewarding at the same time. right? When entrepreneurs, again, they're first starting out their business, financial management, acumen, it's not the first thing that they're thinking about, right? They're wanting to execute the thing that they love to do as to why they got into business. So, my biggest advice is to hold on to the intrinsic reason why you made your small business the way you did. What are you trying to deliver to your customer? What is important to your brand? And the more time that you have to be able to focus on that, which means driving resources, adopting to digitization, modern technology, it allows you to hold on to that, which is your
Mhm.
intrinsic ethos of driving your business. And don't do it alone, right? Leverage the technology around you. Leverage the technology that's going to help you scale and grow. And ultimately, it'll continue doing the thing, it'll allow you to do the thing that you love, right? I had the opportunity to be the GM of a small business about 10 years ago.
Right.
And that small business, like had I like digitization, QBO, Xero, those kind of products, they weren't really as robust in that time, right? Had I had something like Xero, I would have been spending much less amount of time with my CFO, my bookkeeper. But equally, it would have allowed the business owners, which was a family run business, to spend less time in those Excel spreadsheets. So,
Right.
less time into trying to find out where the patterns are, where we're bleeding, what's being projected really well and healthy. And it would have allowed the small businesses to lean into, well, what do we need to do to make our customer experience better so that we have a higher retention, a better word of mouth so we can acquire new business. So all of these things, like I know it's all encompassing, but that is what technology does in these small businesses. It allows them to lean into and drive what they started their business to do in the first place.
Ashley, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing Zero's inspiring work and vision for Canadian small businesses. Again, thanks for your time.
Amazing. And thank you for this opportunity, Mahina. It was a pleasure.
And that was the end of our discussion with our guest. In today's episode, we had the pleasure of speaking with Ashalee Mohamed from Xero, learning about the beautiful business of fund, its Canadian winners, and the importance of financial literacy for small businesses. We're very grateful to our partners, RBC, UPS, Constant Contact, IAG, and Google for their invaluable support in helping us bring these inspiring conversations to our listeners. For more insightful content, please visit CanadianSME.ca. Subscribe to the magazine. Again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.